Hi, I'm Laleen Sukhera. I'm the founder of the Jane Austen Society of Pakistan. So I'm here at the British Council Library and I've taken a look and I've selected a few items for you all to enjoy, especially if you're interested in Austen and her world. So Jane published 6 novels in her lifetime. She also has a lot of unfinished work, and a lot of her juvenilia is very interesting as well because she started writing at a really young age. I'm going to read a couple of sentences here that will particularly resonate with women from the South Asian subcontinent. He said he should come again tomorrow and take my final answer, so I believe I must get him while I can. I know the Duttons will envy me, and I shall be able to chaperone Sophie and Georgiana to all the winter balls. But then what will be the use of that, when very likely he won't let me go myself, for I know he hates dancing, and what he hates himself, he has no idea of any other person's liking, and besides, he talks a great deal of women's always staying at home and such stuff. I believe I shan't have him. So you can see the beginnings of young Jane Austen as a feminist there. I would recommend, this is poetry, but Lord Byron was a rock star in Jane Austen's time. He was one of the handsomest men in society, even though he had a club foot and he was always on a diet. And his verse was insanely popular. And he apparently was so good looking, like you could say the equivalent of, he had sort of Robert Pattinson's hairstyle / Harry Styles sort of look with a bit of brooding Darcy. So women found him very attractive, in particular Lady Caroline Lamb, the wife of the Prime Minister, Lord Melbourne. And she described him after their first meeting as mad, bad, and dangerous to know. So Lord Byron was only 24 years old when he became really popular in Regency society. And this is how he starts his Childe Harold's pilgrimage, Canto the Third. His daughter, Ada Lovelace, she was a famous scientist, and actually it's due to her findings that we have computers today. You'll even find her in a British passport. This is how he started it. Is thy face like thy mother's, my fair child? He really hated her mother. Ada, sole daughter of my house and heart, when last I saw thy young blue eyes, they smiled, and when we parted, now as we now part, but with a hope. So he was a loving father, but a bit of a neglectful father as well. So there's been a lot of books written about Regency England, and I would say pick up some of them. And if you're here at the library, pick up this one. Eavesdropping on Jane Austen's England. It'll give you a really great picture of life at the time as well as practicalities. So I'm going to just share a couple of sentences with you. Finding a suitable marriage partner could prove stressful since there were insufficient numbers of eligible men to go around, and that's something a lot of people still complain about here in Pakistan. Another thing which actually pops out to me as being very similar to life here. When a woman married, she passed from the control of her father, who gave her away at the wedding, to the control of her husband. So we're 21st century, but we're still very traditional in many ways. And even if you apply for an ID card or a passport, you're either the daughter of a man or the wife of a man. So in that way, you know, we really do relate to Austen's time. Next, I'd like to recommend something that's a lot of fun, and I'm sure if you've either read it or watched one of the screen adaptations. It's Helen Fielding's Bridget Jones' Diary. And it's actually an excellent example of how Jane is part of contemporary pop culture, and she appears to be a permanent part of it because we just keep coming up with more and more adaptations and fan fiction. So I'm going to read an extract. Her male protagonist, his name is Mark Darcy because it is inspired by the Mr. Darcy. And this is a conversation that Bridget Jones has with her mother. It was all right, I suppose. I would have felt a bit mean if I hadn't turned up, but Mark Darcy, yuck. Every time my mother's rung up for weeks, it's been, of course you remember the Darcys, darling. They came over when we were living in Buckingham, and you and Mark played in the paddling pool. Or, did I mention Malcolm and Elaine are bringing Mark with them to Una's New Year's Day turkey curry buffet? He's just back from America, apparently. Divorced. He's looking for a house in Holland Park. I don't know why she didn't just come out with it and say, darling, do shag Mark Darcy over the turkey curry, won't you? He's very rich. So I don't know if you watched this. It's called Austenland, and it's very, very funny. So Jane is part of pop culture, and this includes comedy films and romantic films as well, rom-coms. And Austenland is one of them. It's actually not an adaptation of an Austen novel at all, but it's about the world of Jane Austen fandom. So it's actually quite funny. And another one I would recommend is Lost in Austen. That is just absolutely hilarious. So do give it a watch. That's our 5, but I just wanted to a special mention to the city of Bath, which I've been to and I absolutely adore. Do take a walk at the Georgian Crescent and visit the Jane Austen Center. It's amazing and it's so much fun, and you'll feel just like an Austen heroine, no matter where in the world you're from. Thank you.